Now, Tom Perez is President Obama's pick for labor secretary. He's been the Secretary of Labor, and now he is running for a new position to be the chair of the Democratic National Committee. Now, if he wins, he's running against Keith Ellison currently, and if he wins, he would take over for Donna Brazile after she was, of course, after she had replaced the disgraced former chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, which almost feels like a swear word at this point. It's like something you curse at somebody like Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Anyway, now of course Debbie disgraced because she helped break the primary against Senator Bernie Sanders and in favor of Hillary Clinton. Now, if you're familiar with the show, I've already said before that I don't like the choice of Tom Perez because I believe that he is the establishment Democrat, corporatist, and he's essentially going to continue the same neoliberal policies of the Clinton Democrats, the third way, corporatism, steady as we go establishment. Okay, and that's why I don't like him. I don't have any beef against him personally, because I don't know who he is. I don't know him, but I know what he stands for. I know what he's done. Now, of course, there is another good reason to oppose Tom Perez, and that's the direction that he wants to take the Democratic Party in. Now, there's a new article out in The Intercept that kind of shows what direction he wants to go. And it was written by Lee Fong, who's fantastic, does a lot of fantastic work at The Intercept, and always has some amazing tweets. Now, this new article shows that Perez, well, okay, so basically Perez was at a DNC forum, and he was taking questions, and his response to a question about money in politics at this forum was not very good. He was asked about the role of money in politics, and he basically answered that, oh, I'm okay with some money in politics. I mean, I'm not going to reverse the ban on, for example, taking money, or I'm not going to reinstate the ban that says that we can't take corporate money and lobbyist money as the DNC. So, look, he actually said, quote, "It is not that simple of a question," adding that such a move might have unintended consequences. No, the unintended consequences, I'm not getting as much donor money. We as the DNC are not getting as much donor money. That might actually be a good thing, that they don't get the donor money. But anyway, Perez argued that such a ban might impact union members who happen to be lobbyists. Though the question, of course, explicitly only addressed corporate lobbying. It's funny how he brought up, like, on a question about would you ban corporate lobbyists from donating to the DNC, he says, well, that would hurt the unions. We can't hurt the unions. Deflection. Now, look, here's the thing about this rule, right? For as much shit as we give President Obama, he actually put this rule in place. Now, this rule, again, banned corporate lobbyists from donating money to the Democratic National Committee. He said, okay, we're not going to take this donor money. I'm going to personally take donor money and do it through my super PAC. But as far as the DNC, no donor money. Not that. Okay? Not through there. Now, during the campaign, Debbie Wasserman Schultz says, let's open the floodgates. Let's get this donor money back because Hillary Clinton's going to need it. Well, what did that actually do for her? I mean, that opening up that donor money and reversing that ban and getting all of that corporate money into the DNC, did that help? No, it actually hurt. And I know it's not necessarily correlated here, but they took a lot of donor money from corporations and they ended up losing their ass. I mean, they lost badly this election. The Senate, the House, and of course the presidency and the state, and a lot of different state legislatures, Democrats got crushed. A lot of good that donor money did. Now, as I said, this rule put in by President Obama and repealed by Debbie Wasserman Schultz basically banned corporate lobbyists from donating, and it had zero to do with union donations. Okay. Now, for me, my opinion is both all the money has to go. Get rid of corporate lobbying and union lobbying. Get rid of it both. What we need to do is we need to go to a system of public financing of elections. That's where the future is. That's where we need to go. We also need to, of course, reinstate the fairness doctrine, because here's the thing, right? So the money in politics is exacerbated by the fact that we have 6 giant multinational media corporations that control just about everything that we see on the television. So your news is controlled by a giant corporation. That giant corporation has giant corporate interests. They have the interest in the money. Well, thanks to Citizens United, thanks to money in politics, and it's not just Citizens United, by the way. That's just the latest decision, other than McCutcheon, that allows even more money to go into politics. Well, where does that money in politics go to? That goes to political ads that end up benefiting not only corporate candidates or people with the money, but it actually benefits the media companies as well. They love this money. They jump in it. I mean, they suck it up, man. They're drinking that milkshake. And they don't want that to stop. And so, like, stuff like the fairness doctrine goes out the window, so that people like Bernie Sanders don't get enough coverage. But people like Hillary Clinton, or, you know, her surrogates most likely, or even Donald Trump, gets all of this media coverage. Yet other candidates, other voices get drowned out. So that's why I say reinstate the fairness doctrine and get that money out of politics and publicly finance those elections. Now, let me go back to The Intercept and talk more about Perez. Now, The Intercept explains that the only firm restriction on special interest money that Perez had announced is that he personally will not accept lobbyist donations for his own campaign committee for him to support his bid for DNC chair. And look, that makes sense, because it would look absolutely awful for him to be like, no, I'm going to take all this money and I'm running against progressive Keith Ellison. No, that would look even worse. But this also looks really bad. In fact, The Intercept also obtained a fundraising invite for Team Tom Perez's DNC Chair campaign committee for an event on January 26th in Washington, D.C. Now, the event invite clearly prohibits lobbyist money, but the host committee, the individuals that are sponsoring this event in the first place, include several registered lobbyists and individuals working in the lobbying industry. So you can't take their money, but he'll let them host an event for him to raise money. Now, one of the event sponsors, for example, is Brian Tackett. Now, Tackett's a lobbyist with the firm Drinker, Biddle, and Reith, who is registered to lobby on a number of different issues, including on issues related to the overtime rules released by the Labor Department under the leadership of Labor Secretary Tom Perez. So what you have here is Perez going to events sponsored by lobbyists. And look, clearly this is not the type of leadership the Democrats need. I mean, you can see from this, right? He's taking the donor money. He's being shifty on whether or not the DNC should take donor money and reinstate this ban on lobbyists. No, this is not the type of leadership the Democrats need. What we have, or with Perez, is we would have the same old establishment Democratic policies, the neoliberalism. They're going to continue to the practices of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, practices that we've shown lose elections. We don't want to go that way. If the Democratic Party, and look, I'm not a Democratic loyalist, I just think that they're most aligned with the majority of American people, or at least the progressive wing is more aligned. And the progressive wing, made up by Bernie Sanders, of course, and others, they're still trying to fight inside the Democratic Party to let them shift course. I would like to see that happen, because it's the best chance that we have. If they don't go in that direction, then I'm all for creating a new party. But right now, I'm still backing the idea of Bernie Sanders for now. For now. And I'm telling them, we're all saying, if the Democrats, hey, you guys, if you ever want to win again, you need to embrace a new direction. You need to start getting away from the money. You got to get away from the money. You've got to say, we're not going to take this big money anymore. We're not. We're going to cut our ties with the giant multinational corporations, the lobbyists in Congress. We're not going to take it into the DNC. We're going to ban this lobbyist as much as we can, and we're going to fight to get money out of politics. That's the direction that they need to go if they ever want to win an election, because the American people are tired of corruption. And they know Washington is corrupt. They know these politicians are not working for them, but are instead working for giant multinational corporations. You do this, Democrats, and you might actually win, and you might actually go back to representing the regular people, regular working Americans. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation.